Thank you. Thank you, lover. Greetings. Welcome to our room tours, our Happy Basins room tours, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time live feed. I did partially dress up as a dragon today. You can see my beautiful claws here. And at the very end of this live stream, after we do business, I'll just put the whole costume on and show you guys how cool it is, and maybe have a little bit of fun on my hoop here. You guys will enjoy that. But today we are here to make reptile vines. So I'm just gonna sit for just a minute here and chat, get my technology going. I am lucky that Larry's here on his lunch break and is able to get me rolling. So the thing I miss though is having the camera moving around. All right. I like it when I can see this stuff on Facebook and YouTube. But if you guys haven't already heard me say it, we have really been having a lot of fun with Streamline. It makes it possible for us to live stream to Facebook and YouTube. So I'm sure there are a lot of other, apps. I don't think it's an app, I'm not sure, that do that, but Streamline's what we're using and we're liking it. So I am super excited about today's live feed because, well, a couple reasons. I love our soaker hose vines. The animals love them. They're really beautiful inside of the enclosures. Jaja, our iguana, uses them. Serapi, our king snake, uses them. All of the emeralds love them. And they like them because they scratch their faces on the texture and they can easily grip whether they're slithering or climbing. So the soaker hose has been fantastic in a lot of other ways too, as far as we'd never find mildew in there. So sometimes pieces of our wood inside of the enclosures will get a light mildew. I clean them pretty often, so I can always see any first signs of it, but there's never anything on the soaker hose. We love the soaker hose vines. They're super easy to manipulate, easy to make, and relative to reptile vines, they're a lot less expensive. So I'm excited to show you guys for all of those reasons. And one of the main things I always like to say is that when I go to the wild and I find these arboreal snakes, we're not looking for isolated trees. We're looking for full vine systems. And if we pass by a place on the river that just has a lot of trees with branches, we will look a little. Sometimes we don't look at all. But when we see vine systems flowing through everything, we know we're going to find emeralds because they love vine systems. And I really love to try to recreate what I find in the wild for these guys here at home. So the soaker hose vines is my easiest way that I found, the most effective, and keeping things sterile and the animals enjoying them, easy to make. Of all of those things, they top all of the things we've tried. And while I'm showing you guys how to make these vines, I'll tell you some of the other things we've tried and why we stopped doing it. I unfortunately am not able to just carry this camera downstairs because it's connected to the computer Wi-Fi with a cord running and all kinds of stuff. So I can't just take you downstairs to show you the vines. But right before I did this live feed, when I was making the thumbnail, I went downstairs and I took a really good picture of one of our north cabinet, which has Zaltis, and then it has an Angistida and Cassius clay together in there. And then Bella and Jormungandr were all in there. They were in beautiful poses. I'll have to post the picture raw later without the words across it. But I took a picture of that north wall and then a picture of Isis's enclosure, and I put it like down at the bottom of the thumbnail. So if you're able to zoom in on the thumbnail, you can see what I wish I could take you downstairs and show you. Now, also, I do have an emerald right up here in my living room. So I'm going to get the camera right now and show you the vines we have here for Draca. And hi, Saran. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Let me show you Draco's vine system over here. I do have some mobility, just not a lot. So here's Draca. Draca is a northern emerald tree boa that we have been working with. My girlfriend Allison and I are working to rehabilitate this beautiful baby, just to get her up to moisture levels. She's a great eater, but it's these vines I want you to see, and her name is Draca. Draaca. But these are the vines, and you guys can see right through there that they hang up here. So there's no need for holders. You know, a lot of people are always trying to figure out what to use as holders on the sides, and these just hang. But before I had them hanging, I had them just setting in there. Because of the way these vines are, I'm going to show you after I make it, you can squish it up or stretch it out. And you can, in a smaller space, you can actually just have this standing free by itself. It doesn't even have to hang or anything. And this is 1/4-inch soaker hose and 1/2-inch soaker hose. The 1/2-inch has a 6-gauge copper wire, and the 1/4-inch has a 10-gauge. And I'll be showing you guys that as I'm putting them together. But I wanted you to have a good look at what the soaker hose looks like, so you can see what we are about to make. All right, I'm ready to get started. My dragon feet are a little causing me to drag my feet. My dragon feet are causing me to drag my feet. All right, let's get this back down here. And the reason I make the vines over here in my aerial area is because it's very convenient for me to hang the vine on that hoop when I'm actually creating it. So I'm just going to walk right through this. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to take off my dragon shoes. And these dragon shoes are just a pair of tennis shoes I got at a thrift store. And I covered them with fabric and then got some dragon claw from Amazon.com and filled it with foam. Anyway, so it's just a nice, comfortable tennis shoe. I like to be comfortable. All right, let's see what we've got here. Maybe I should move that down just a tiny bit more. It sure is nice having a camera guy, isn't it? I miss Larry when he goes to work. I mean, I miss him for lots of reasons, but I really miss his camera guy stuff. All right. That's looking pretty good, but could look a little better since I'm going to be sitting there for a long time. I think that'll work. Maybe move a little closer there. All right. Now, with these soaker hose vines, this is what the finished product will look like. And you can make them any length you want to. Now, I actually have to make these. I need 2 more of those hanging systems that I just showed you with Draca, because I have Rico Suave is actually using one that's not the proper one. I just kind of makeshifted it into one. And then we also have another new baby coming soon. He's not a baby though, he's 7 years old. We're very excited about him. His name's going to be Inky. So I don't remember if it was Baloo that suggested Inky, but we had thought about it and that rekindled it. All right, so here we go, you guys. I have here my 1/2-inch soaker hose and my 1/4-inch soaker hose, which has been painted. And I'm going to show you guys the paint. This is called Ecos paint, and you can just Google it and look it up. And you can Google Ecos Pet Safe Paint. And they claim that you can actually paint a reptile's enclosure with the reptile in it because it's so safe. We don't actually do that, but I do use this paint for everything. And I have different colors here. I'm probably not going to paint the vine today, just show you guys how to make it. We'll start with the easy one. First of all, I have actually forgotten my wire clippers. That's a shame. Because I really need them, and I hate to leave you guys sitting here while I go find them. But I could probably give you something cute to look at while I run down and find them. How about that? Sorry. I put the wire cutters on the list and went downstairs to get them, got distracted. You know how that goes. Oh, I know exactly what cute thing to do. I said it before I had a plan. I will just open all of this stuff here and let Jaja sit here and do what she wants with it. Because she's hungry, and I think as long as this food's here, she will entertain you guys. And I will be right back. Jaja, come here. We need you for the show, Jaja. Come here. You're such a good girl. You're always ready for the show, aren't you? She's always ready to be in the show. Here, look, we got you all this delicious stuff to eat in front of our friends, okay? All right, I will be right back. Were you cute enough, Sasha? You guys, was she cute enough while I was gone? She's so precious. Oh, I forgot because we are on chat. So let's see and say hi to everybody. David, thank you for coming. And Nan, hello, Nan. Nan is Larry's mom, and I was just thinking about my mom's mom because she always bragged that she could put a blindfold on and find anything in her house because she knew exactly where everything was. And when I ran right downstairs and found these, I was super proud because I do not know where everything is with a blindfold on. Thank you, Erica, that I look so cute. I don't know if you heard me yet, but wait, what happened? She doesn't know what to do because I was waving this tool around. Yes, at the end of this video, if you guys are still hanging out, I will put the whole costume on and also show you a few tricks on the hoop, which is kind of fun. So I'm gonna put her stuff up because she isn't gonna eat yet. She has to wait till I'm ready to feed her today. But we should give her a treat for being so cute. And I say this every time I do it, that I do not recommend people try this with their iguana unless they have a very trusting and good relationship and are ready to get bit in the mouth. But I'm going to do it because Jaja loves it. Here, Jaja. Look what I got, Jaja. Come and get it. Come on. Come on. You sweet thing. This is not your show today. This is Vine's. You sweet girl. Oh, I was actually going to do the other trick. Wait, I got another one. You want it? She's going to be fast. Come on. One more. One more, because I didn't do it like I said. Here. You sweet thing. Okay. You could go now. We're going to do this fine stuff now. All right, so I got my handy dandy wire cutters because we definitely need those. And I don't really have a lot of space right here, but I am going to make it work. The first thing I'm going to do is, like I already mentioned, I have this 1/2 inch soaker hose, this 1/4 inch soaker hose. This is a 6 gauge copper wire which is going to go into the 1/2 inch soaker hose. And then I have some, I don't have really very much of this. This is 10 gauge copper wire. And this goes into the 1/4 inch soaker hose. What are you doing? You think there's something for you over here? You're so silly. All right, so the first thing is when you buy this soaker hose, you can buy it in 25, 50, 75, or 100 feet. I'm not really sure how many feet this one is because I took the package off last time. I made you guys a video to show you how to do this. And now I don't know how long it is. So I already know what 25 feet is by measuring it over here in my hallway, which I am going to turn around and show you guys because a hallway is important. So, oh, you guys want to see something cool? Let's see if it shows up here. Ziggy, Cosmos on. Oh, I don't know if you guys were able to see all those lights go on, but Larry's got this whole house set up real smart. All right, so we're right down the center of that hallway there. And I have made this so many times that I already know how long 25 feet is. And what I do is I just take the end, if you guys can see me, and I stick it into the door here, and I close the door. And I just remembered I have to put it at the bottom of the door, or else it doesn't close. And then I take a pair of scissors and I cut 25 feet. So like I said, for me, I know that 25 feet is right about to this line right here. And if it's not exact, it's of course not a big deal. Now, the tricky part is I need 25 feet of this 6 gauge copper wire. So with this copper wire, I am not going to spread it out and cut it. I actually just leave it like this. And here's the end. And then I need to turn the computer around so I can make sure you guys can see me because I can't see. Okay. I need to get on the ground. Zaza, you're so cute. You're just watching. I wish everybody could see how cute you are. All right, here we are. So this copper wire, I am going to actually untwist it as I go because that's just how I find it to be easiest to deal with. If you get the long one, we buy like 100 feet now because it's funny, when we got our second and third animals from Steve Volk, he told us, that was Isis and Zaltis. Steve said, well, do you want this? Do you want that? Because he had like a lot of extra lights and all kinds of stuff. And Larry's like, oh no, we only, at that time now we had 3 because we got Zaltis and Isis. We only have 3 snakes. And Steve said, well, they're addicting and you will be getting more. And well, I don't know. I guess we must have got some little bird in our ear that says they're cheaper by a dozen because that's how many we have now. Which is crazy, I know. All right, so I just pulled out enough of this wire to get it going. Actually, I pulled out a little more than I usually do just because I was chatting. So now this is the 1/2 inch soaker hose and it is nice and big and really easy to thread this through. When we do the 1/4 inch soaker hose with the 10 gauge copper wire, it's going to be tighter. And that's where we're going to get into the olive oil and some techniques that we have to use for that. Get this. So now it's super easy. I just going to take this copper wire and thread it into this hose. And if you guys read the, oh, you know, there is actually something I do here. I forgot. The ends of these wires are, they have a catch on them, you know, because they're jagged. So what I do in that case is I usually go on the front porch and do it so I don't get any metal around on the floor, but I just grabbed this bag. We'll use that. But I take this sandpaper. This is a 60 grit. I really don't know anything about sandpaper, but Larry said the bigger the number, the finer it is. So this is 60, and I wouldn't use anything finer than this. And then you just take the little jagged end, and it will actually sand off. And of course, this is just the sandpaper that we have for our little tool that we use. And a real piece of sandpaper could make it easier. I'm always afraid I'm going to slip and cut my hand. And I actually do have a pair of gloves that I usually wear. All right, so I got one side nice and smooth, but the other side is still very jagged. And of course, the reason for sanding off these jagged edges is because it slips much more nicely through the soaker hose. I hope I'm able to do all this kind of quickly. I didn't want to do any part before I started. I have made a video showing how to make these soaker hose vines probably about 4 times. I did post one a few years ago, just about the vines, not actually how to make them. But I am not good at sitting down and editing videos. I mean, I feel like I'm good at it. I like the videos that I've done, but it's the sitting still for all those hours day after day. And I know people enjoy them, and they are beneficial. But I'm sure grateful for the opportunity to show you guys stuff live. And I'm still feeling some jagged end here, and I probably might be going a little too far, but you really have to do a good job on the 1/4 inch. You guys can't see this, but this little thing right here is just sitting here watching me. Can I have a kiss? She's like, if you have a blueberry in your mouth. Larry says she thinks I'm a Pez dispenser, and she just stares at my mouth waiting for a blueberry to pop out. All right, so I got that done. And then the next thing that I do, actually, there's still a pretty good jag on there. The next thing I do on the 1/4 inch is very important, but on this one, it's not really that important. And I did actually have a little syringe with olive oil in it, but I could not find that. So I have to get a new little bowl here with some olive oil. Not exactly the perfect ideal thing, but that's what happens when you don't prepare enough. All right, so I have right here just a tiny bit of olive oil, and I'm just going to put that on the tip of this. And I'm not going to touch it with my fingers because I need my grip. So usually I just kind of use a little syringe so that I can syringe it in like as I'm doing it. All right, so here we go. I'm just putting the hose through. At the very beginning, it's not super important that the hose is completely straight. But as soon as you start feeling some tension on the hose, that's when we're going to walk down the line and straighten it out. And you can see, so far, everything I took out earlier is gone. Went right in there. And the olive oil is really helpful for that. I usually do wear gloves for this for 2 reasons. First of all, when I'm making a whole bunch of them, because I mean, like I one time made 8 of them all at once. Your hands can get raw from the soaker hose and then black from the copper wire. All right, so it's getting really hard to push in there now. And if I just keep pushing it, I'm going to rip the soaker hose. And while I'm going through this and straightening it out, I'm going to tell you guys what, why we use a soaker hose instead of our original. The original thing that we were using when we started making vine systems, we were using the store-bought Reptile vines and stripping the wire out of them and then replacing the wire with this copper wire, which worked great, except a couple things. First of all, those little vines are so short. So we had done some really fun, cool things with those vines, and we still have all of them, and we just use them throughout the habitats in different little ways. But they do mildew. I do have to wipe them off extra because they get mildew on them. When you're threading the wire through them, they don't have an opening as wide as this soaker hose because they're thicker, but the material is super fragile. So the whole time you're doing it, you're trying really hard not to rip them. So you can use Reptile vines. Like if you already have a bunch of them, but you want them to be more firm, you can just put a 10 gauge wire. You don't have to do this is super thick wire and it stands up by itself and holds the animals up. But really the 10 gauge is pretty good too. The 6 gauge though we find is the smallest. That's the most effective. All right, so this is getting hard again. So the longer it gets, of course, the more friction is created in there and it's harder to get it through. So I just keep going through and straightening it. It's probably getting pretty close. And this is the easy part. Okay, so I'm all the way to here. You guys can see down here. So I'm actually not as far as I had hoped. Let's see. Oh, I know. Might help if I turn this light on. Got a little glow in the dark strap from my suitcase. So if I had my syringe right now, which I know where there's one, I normally put a little bit more of that olive oil in there as I'm working. Oh, there we go. Yay. Okay, get my olive oil back. So I have this thing of olive oil. You guys saw me dip the beginning in. And I just put some in this little medicine syringe. Larry's a dentist, so this is something, when I said I needed it, he's like, oh, I could bring that tomorrow. And I said, oh, tomorrow, but I want to do it right now. His office is just 2 minutes away. So as soon as I said that I needed that, Larry was able to produce it. And I've used a little syringe like that ever since. For the olive oil, it works perfect. And I was doing that back when we were using the Reptile vines. So I think I'm getting closer now. My copper wire is nice and straight. I'm going to kind of keep it straight here at the end as I'm doing it so I don't have to keep getting up. And you can see how I'm just unwinding. Oh, can you see the wire there? Unwinding the wire as I go, because if you try to unwind all that wire and cut the length you need, it's such a hassle. So if you're doing like a 5-foot piece or something, then you would probably want to cut your wire first. But for something this long, definitely, I say, keep it wrapped up. And, when I wanted to make my own reptile vines, I looked up on Google for reptile vines. And of course, we found those other ones, the real reptile vines, and we were stripping them and putting the copper wire in. But we were struggling with them. Like I said, they weren't long enough. The fabric of them is very, very fragile. So I went on looking for more stuff, and I found a fella, and his YouTube channel is Coops Reptiles. I think it's COOPS Reptiles. And I did put a link in the description of this video, but I don't know if you can click on a link from that description. But he just sat on the back of his pickup truck and made about a 5-foot one of these things, explained how he did it, and we were like amazed because soaker hose sounded so perfect. And then we got the soaker hose, and the very first night we had it, I was using it to take the animals in and out of the shower, and that was before we had a rain chamber. So we were just putting them in our regular shower. We had bought one of those rain shower heads from Amazon.com, and it just put a nice soft fall onto the animals. And I had a fake tree in there, but once I got the soaker hose vines, I didn't need the fake tree anymore because I would just take that whole soaker hose vine and just set it right in there. It was incredible. And I've just been in love with them ever since. And that Ecos paint doesn't come off in the shower either. It's fantastic. So I watched Coop make these Reptile vines. He didn't use copper wire, and he didn't use wire like this strong, but he was twisting it together differently and using it for light little geckos. So we just kind of redid it how it would work for us. And like I said, we love it. Obviously, I'm showing you guys how to make it. All right, let's see. Oh, we're just about there. So I can open that door. And then we're about to get to the fun part, which is actually the hard part. The hard part of this is twisting it, because you have to use your imagination. Like, how do you want your vine structure to look? And I already know how I want mine. And even though I've made them so many times, I still have to think about it every time. Okay, I think I saw my wire coming through up down there. Let me double check. Yep. All right, my wire came through. I'm going to pull it back out just a tad. I'm going to cut it. Now, when I said you needed hefty ones of these, I mean it, because even though copper is soft, it's still, okay, the reason I said it is because my first time trying to cut the copper wire, I did not use a good pair, and I hurt myself. So I use this big hardy pair, and I don't put my fingers in between it, because that doesn't work out for me either. And I just kind of have this way I do it, and I'm scared every time. So I just do it soft. There we go. So if you guys watch my live stuff, you know I'm a jumpy person. That is why I do not drive. But I do like to go into the wild of the jungle and eat rodents and lizards and fish and live in a hammock. So I'm not like squeamish, but I do jump a lot. All right, let's turn this around again. Get back over here to our creation station. Okay. All right, now we are going to shoot. You know what I should have done? Well, that's okay. I can actually do it right here because I don't really have enough of my 1/4 inch copper wire, not 1/4 inch, but the 10 gauge copper wire that goes into the 1/4 inch soaker hose. I only have a little bit. So I'm actually not going to need the hallway for this part, but I'm going to go ahead and put it together so I can go wash my hand. Because the copper is, makes your hands black. All right, so this one has to get sanded, which I left all of my little tools over here. Don't worry, I'll be right back. Just made me think of Chuck Woolery. You guys remember Chuck Woolery? We'll be back in 2 and 2. All right, so this one absolutely needs the sanding and the Donna Jo Glover. Oh my gosh. Hello, everybody. Luigi and Ushi. Thank you guys for coming today to learn how to make reptile vines. I know Donna Jo, she is going to make the heck out of these vines for all of her reptiles. I'm just kidding. Donna Jo's a dog lover. She knows what it's like. You don't have to love snakes to understand this love. You just have to love animals, and Donna Jo loves her dogs. And if she's watching right now at this moment, I know she's going, yes, I do, girl. You know I do, girl. So, it's like a lot of the keepers. You guys might have heard me talk about my friend, my very good friend who I love and who loves me back, has told Larry that he needs to, hold on, before I finish the story, I'm going to put the olive oil in here. This one needs a lot of olive oil. It needs, it's tight and it's hard to get through there, so put a lot of it in there. My friend told Larry that he needs to put all of our snakes in tubs. And friend, if you're watching this right now on YouTube, YouTube doesn't tell you who's watching, so you never know. I love you, and we agree that we disagree. But he says that all of my real snakes should go into tubs, which for those of you who don't know, is a very acceptable way to keep these snakes in plastic bins with very little enrichment. So he thinks all of my snakes should go into plastic tubs, and Larry should fill my room, my beautiful jungle room, with fake snakes so that I can sleep in my hammock with snakes all around me, but not torture my real snakes. And in my perspective, keeping the snakes in tubs without any enrichment or love is torture. So we will never know which way the snakes prefer it. And, we can still be friends. Very good friends. We're more like family than friends. So sometimes you just disagree with people you love. All right, so this one, it gets a little tricky here. First of all, it's already getting hard to insert in here, and I have it already to here. Now, Larry is very patient, and he has done 25 feet of 1/4 inch with the 10 gauge copper wire. 12 feet I can do. Like when I'm going down the hallway and I have it super straight and I keep straightening it, I can get 12 feet out of it without ripping. Anything after that, it starts ripping. So to prevent ripping, that's kind of a trick. And if you do have those reptile vines, but you want to slip this, the thicker copper wire into them, this is the technique that you will also use for that. Ja, ja. She's always so interested. I wish she would sit right in the view of the camera and stare at me like that. The only thing she's looking at me for is to see if I'm going to pop a blueberry out of my mouth. All right, so I just straightened the wire a bit, and I'm going to put some more olive oil in here. The olive oil was a real lifesaver because the longer these are, the easier they are to manipulate into a large vine structure like how I like. So I do like them to be very long. Which is why I really love the olive oil, because, oh darn, I'm gonna get oil all over my suit. Oh, you know what, you guys? Well, I'll tell you at the end when I put the whole entire suit on, if anybody's still here. I'll tell you guys, Larry made this suit for me. Not completely from scratch, but when you see what all he's added onto it, it's incredible. He did make this whole skirt and the suit. He's done. See, now I got the olive oil on my fingers, so I don't have my grip. So you do want to be careful not to get olive oil on your fingers. I don't think washing it off is going to help, so I am going to get a wet paper towel, because I think that might have a little grip to it. Okay. All right, so when you're pushing, when it gets tight, like right now, this is really tight. You got to really make sure you have it super straight. Straight is a big deal on this. And I really should have still stayed in the hallway, but I don't really have much more to go. You guys can still see, so. All right, I don't have my gloves and I have olive oil on my hands, so I'm using this. Now, while I'm doing this, I am pushing this black hose toward my hand. I'm pushing my hands together, both of them. And the reason I'm doing that, and then I'm going to also keep straightening it, because this soaker hose will rip. Not as bad as the Reptile vines do, but it will rip. So you have to be sure to keep, this is where my wire is ending right here. So I'm just gonna kind of push it down and create a little tiny bit of slack. It's not a lot, but it is some. And that's all it needs, is a little. The longer you make it, the more you have to do that. And like I said, if you're going to use the 6-gauge copper wire in the Reptile vines, like if you already have a bunch of them and you just want to rewire them to make them better, because it really improves them. It makes them really amazing. But they rip easily, so you just have to be sure to keep straightening it, constantly straightening it. I was a little worried about making a 1/4 inch today because it takes a lot longer, and I really wanted to, holy smokes, I really wanted to get a full vine system made for you guys today, which I'm going to sit here and make it. So I need to make it anyway, but it's not going to be done in 15 minutes. That's for sure. But the cool thing about these videos is, like on YouTube, I don't know about Facebook, but you can just watch it on fast forward. Janet McCormick? Wow. I can't believe it, you guys. You guys came to see me in my dragon suit? Hello, Baloo. So nice to see you. Saran asked, what in the world is my costume? It's a dragon costume, and I'm going to show you the rest. You can actually see it like above my head when I bend over. The rest of the costume is back there. It has a tail and wings, and then you can't see her over there. I guess you can see her legs in that corner. Is a mannequin that wears this dragon costume. Like, you guys have probably seen my Medusa costume is on a mannequin over there by Jaja and the tortoises. And this other mannequin over here wears this dragon costume. So I would have I would have mannequins with all my costumes. I love my costumes. So it's fun to dress mannequins up as them and just use them as statues around my living room. And the dragon one, I don't keep the head and stuff on her, just this suit with a big snake. I'll show her to you guys next time I stand up, or when I put the whole costume on. I'll show you the mannequin with the big snake. All right, so this is getting really hard, and it's gonna take me more work. So I'm just gonna cut this last piece of copper wire out so that I can get to work. Because I can just keep straightening and straightening and straightening this. So let's just go ahead and do that. Plus my hands are kind of starting to hurt. Pushing this little wire can hurt. So I'm just going to cut that end off. And that was just soaker hose I cut, no wire. But this wire is much easier to cut than that 6 gauge. The 10 gauge is, of course, much thinner, much easier. All right, I should go wash my hands real quick. Not just the olive oil, but the copper. Tell you guys a fun story real quick while I'm doing this. I used to be a delivery helper for UPS seasonally during Christmas. I did that 2 years in a row. And when you're delivering packages all day, your hands turn completely black. I guess it's the aluminum in the cardboard box is what I think somebody told me. And I was in the gas station bathroom when I got off work one day where the driver dropped me off, and my hands were pure black. And I was in the bathroom and I was washing my hands, and somebody opened the door and the door hit me. And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just need to wash my hands." And her hands were black. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I opened the door and it was a girl in a FedEx suit and I was in a UPS suit. So we took some pictures together in the parking lot. It was fun. I forgot the camera's up here and I was looking at the computer camera. Okay, let's see what it looks like to actually have to design one of these things. Oh, the first thing, actually, I have the perfect thing here that I almost forgot about. This is important. We are actually going to just thread this little piece through here. I don't need any sanding or oil because it's just a very small piece. And this is going to be our hanger. So I just push that all the way in there. And I usually make the hangers like between 9 and 11 inches, or just any little pieces I have left over. They can be made out of. All right, the hangers are very easy. I just fold them over like this. You want to try to make sure your wire is inside of there. I use my wire cutter a lot to push the ends of the wire in. So you just fold this in half completely. And I am going to have a piece sticking out. And when I have pieces sticking out, I might cut them off, or sometimes I just cut off another little piece of soaker hose and stick it on the end, depending. All right, so now, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one off because it's too small to put something on. I have this little double thing, and then I'm just going to turn it into an S shape. And I'm looking over there because I have one right there I can show you guys why I do this. So, and plus I'm looking to remember how I did it. This is a little S shape like this. This part right here goes through the eye hook. And then this part comes back around and seals it. I'm actually going to show you guys real quick because the hangers are important if you're going to do a hanger, but you may do a freestanding because you can do this exact same form with a freestanding. All right, can you guys see the hanger? right here, how it loops over and comes around and holds it. And that's just holding this up with a little tiny hook. Oh, here, perfect. With a little hook. Where's the, well, I don't guess you can really see, but it's just a little eye hook. It doesn't take much because it also is being held up from the bottom and all along the walls and stuff. Okay. Yes, I very much miss my camera guy. Okay. So the reason I need the hook to start with is because I have to hang what I'm about to make on that hoop, which just made me realize that you need to see the hoop. Okay. So I am going to hang this right here. And you don't have to have a hoop, of course. You guys can do anything that you can hang it from. The hoop is just extremely convenient. So I have my little S hook hanging here. And now I am going to take my 1/2-inch soaker hose that I think I did this without telling you guys what I was doing. This is the long one that I had all the way down the hallway, and I just folded it in half. I forgot to tell you because I just did it. So this whole 25-foot thing is now, how much? 12.5 feet, approximately. And what I'm going to do with this is I am just going to bend it more because I already know that I'm going to have this thing bent up pretty good. So I can just kind of bend it. It's just like having a big mushy thing of clay because you're just going to do stuff with it. But initially, and it might happen today, I hope not. I hope I've made enough of these now. But initially, I would have to take it apart and keep trying to make it. And even sometimes, you know, I make a fresh one and I have to do it again and again because I can't remember how I did it. All right, so now I take these little things and push them back here. Maybe I should try to get the camera a little closer to that area. Hi, Tiffany. All right, let's see. Somebody said this is helpful, I see on YouTube. I know this is a chat and I'm supposed to be looking at comments too, but I feel like, oh, I gotta stick to business. So I am gonna take a second and look at comments, even though we're gonna go over today for sure. Yes, Boa Republic, this video will be available. I made a great live video. I loved it. I was so proud of it. I've actually done it twice and then accidentally deleted it because I was using the same thumbnails and I got confused. And but now that Larry has me on this streamline, things are always there. So even if I accidentally delete it from something, it's still available on Streamline. All right, so I would like to get one of my vine systems out and have a look at it, but I have animals on everything. I am going to go get an animal. That animal is too embedded in his water bowl, but it is very helpful to have something to look at. So I'm going to get Mama Wada. She's right in here. So you're such a good girl. Thank you for coming out for us today. Yes. Oh, everybody's just going to love you. Yes, they are. So it's easier for me to have a vine structure to look at. And you guys can see this vine structure right here. I had not made a hanger for it, so I just used some green wire that I had. This is Mama Wada. She came with Rico Suave, for those of you guys who have seen him. She's an 8-year-old female basin emerald tree boa, but she was not cared for the best, with the best environment, the best husbandry, or she's just been through a lot of stress in her little life. She's just as sweet as she can be, and she eats. She's done a good job, haven't you? Yes. All right. So I have this structure, and I'm just actually going to just set it. Can you guys see it right here? Just going to set it here, just to give myself a little something to look at. And Mama Wada is going to probably start slithering around, which is perfectly fine. And I need to look at that because I do have a specific way I like to do them. It's kind of hard to remember each time. And, you know, of course, you're going to do it however you want to, whatever works good for your enclosure. But what I do is I start by twisting this up. Once I start twisting the vine, it's going to make it a little bit more sturdy. So I have my 2 even sides here, and now I would normally take this and go stand up in the living room and just stand there and twist the heck out of all of this. But I'm just going to sit here and do it since I don't have a camera guy. I need, if Larry can't do it, then I think he should send me one of his assistants from work. Kyra. Oh, you guys, if Kyra ever gets to come and help with these videos, that would be so amazing. You guys will love her. But I know a lot of people do these live videos by themselves. Larry just got me spoiled by being off work for a whole month when we started this. So this is only the 2nd time I've had to do it by myself. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. Doing these live videos is kind of like just like being a teacher. You have to think about what you're going to do for the day. Of course, I should have better lesson plans and be more organized and prepared, which I am hoping will come with time. When I get everything more organized with scheduling and make a list of the different things that we're going to do each time. And I'll probably do the soaker hose again because I have to make more of them. So I can do another soaker hose vine video anytime. If anybody wants to try something new, you want me to try it, I'm sure I could use it. I have the soaker hose vine that Rico Suave is on, if you guys saw my Facebook post. And that is one of what I call my offering vines. Not all of my soaker hose vines are for the enclosures. I also make big, huge ones for connecting the inside of the emeralds enclosures downstairs to their big enrichment area all over the ceiling. So they know when I connect those vines that it's time to come out. So that's a lot of the reasons my animals don't like hide their head and stuff when we go in there. Because if they feel their vines shaking, that could mean they're going to get sprayed, which they love. Maybe they're going to get to come out for enrichment, all kinds of stuff. But they know that when it's time to eat, we heat their meals up in a toaster oven downstairs, right in their room. So they know when they smell their food that it's time to eat. They are not animals who think they're going to eat every time you stick your hand inside of their enclosure, which you guys are going to find out on, what night is that? Monday nights. We do Jungle Room News, and that's when I'm going to be showing you guys how I work with the animals even when they're awake and hunting. It's actually my favorite time to work with the emeralds. All right, so now I have all these twists and turns in here, and it just kind of made it a little bit stronger, gave it a little more character. And one thing is always true when I get finished with these things is that I always wish that I would have put more twists in them. But it always seems like enough when I have it all straight like this. But then when I get down to it, I always wish I had more. So I'm just gonna put a few little extras in there. And when this one gets all done, this one is gonna go to Rico Suave. And then I have to make another one for Inky, who I don't know when Inky's coming, but it won't be too long from now, I hope. All right. So now there are some things that I like to do. You guys got to see on Draca just now, and also on Mommy Wada. They like to sit up high by the heater. So these top perches are really important. And also I'm going to show you some other things that this vine doesn't actually have, and that's water bowl holders. I may just have to go get water bowl holders to show you guys, because the reason these vines don't have water bowl holders, because we haven't used them in our new enclosure yet. They're inside of these old enclosures which have 3D printed water bowls. But like I said, I'm just going to sit here and make this whole entire vine, so you guys can just come back later and fast forward it or whatever. Okay, so the first thing I am going to do here is create my loops. I like to have a loop in the front and a loop in the back. So how do I normally do that? It's not really that easy to remember, but I'm just going to start twisting things up here and see what I end up with. And I mean, like I said, this is just like sculpting. Of course, I'm sure sculpting is much more difficult. I've never even tried it. But this is still pretty hard. The soaker hose vine is not super duper easy to move around, but it is maneuverable. And like I said earlier, gloves are very helpful. I just forgot to find gloves, and I don't want to take the time to go find them since I'm only going to be making one today. All right, so you can see I have a nice loop right here, and I'm just going to take this piece and wrap it around here. Which this is where the gloves really come in handy, because sometimes wrapping this stuff is not easy. If you guys think the camera should be closer to what I'm doing, just let me know. I can see, like I can't see comments, but I can see when comments pop up. So if I see one pop up, I'll look. All right, I have my first top perch done here, and I'll be molding it out a little better, you know, as I finish. But right now I'm just trying to get the skeleton of it going. And I do everything with the with this 1/2 inch before I add any 1/4 inch. All right, now I'm gonna get the other side of my loop. If you notice when I showed you Mommy Wada's vine structure, I have one of these on each side. So yeah, gloves are definitely very helpful. All right. Now this one's a little bit harder because I don't have the option to just twist it below. I have to put it through this loop. So make sure you get a good tight wrap on these things, because what you don't want to happen is for the whole thing to slip apart when your animal is not just sitting on it, but also, you want to be able to pick it up and move it. So I've done something here. This is a thing that I really find looks good and is helpful, is I twisted these pieces together right in where they were already spiraled and twisted. And that meant that one good twist was enough, and I didn't have to keep going around and waste my vine. So sometimes you just have to look for little things that can make your structure strong and make decisions on where to twist stuff together by what makes it strong. Now I'm just kind of pulling this apart, and before I'm done, these two top pieces are going to be much more layable. I'll want to bend it to a nice U shape for the animal and stuff, and we'll get to that. It looks like my structure is a little smaller than maybe what I'm used to, so I may have counted the wrong area for my 25 feet, but that's okay. That is okay. And it's okay because even if I need it to be a certain size, all I have to do is wind up some more soaker hose and I can add as much as I want at any time. So if you create a soaker hose vine for a smaller enclosure, then you can always add to it when you upgrade. You still get to use your whole system, no matter how many times you upgrade. All right, you guys, I don't know if you can see back there, but Mommy Wada is just watching us. She's not hiding or anything. They're such curious animals. All right, so now this is the part where I'm just kind of going to twist stuff up more. Because don't forget, I am going to come back with my 1/4 inch, even though I only have about 1/3 of my 1/4 inch that I normally use. So this is not going to be a full completed vine when we're done here today, but it'll be something good. All right, so you guys might be able to start to see the structure here. I got all my twisties. I'm just kind of pulling them out to get my length, kind of see what I have to work with. And then I am going to just start kind of creating some shapes here. And if you have full-grown arboreal animals, you guys, we find huge full-grown ones on little tiny vines. And not only what we see in the wild, but my full-grown animals choose the 1/4 inch soaker hose often. So they like very, very small vines. I get a lot of flack for things I do with my animals. I have way more hands-on than most keepers do, and I don't think it feels good. And I don't like to downgrade what other people do. But we all have opinions, and nobody ever seems to mind putting theirs on me. And I don't disrespect anybody for it, but it does make me sad when I see these big emeralds on something the size of a curtain rod, or like a 1/2 inch PVC where it's real slippery and the animal has no grip. So there are a lot of things that make me sad when I see enclosures. So it really makes me feel good to get to spread this soaker hose vine stuff. I'm trying, you guys. All right. I just have this structure here now, and this is good enough on this side. And it's not super duper difficult to change it. Once you start a structure, you can manipulate it in all kinds of ways afterward. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get it to some shape that you like. All right. So here, you guys, I have, so hard to see. I needed like a white floor, didn't I? This red thing. Should have thought of that long ago. I think this contrast will help you see it better. And that's why it's okay to remake these videos, because each time you could figure out stuff that makes it better, right? Oh, yeah, that's way better. Okay. Now, when you guys are making these, the important thing is you want to try to have as many horizontal perching areas as you can. And I like to make mine so that the fronts are open. So if you look at Mommy Wada's right here, you're being such a good girl, aren't you? You're such a good girl. If you look at Mommy Wada's here, you can see, like, I could put this on my back like a suit, you know what I mean? And the reason I do that is because I can put my plants inside. And once I have this front opened, they have plenty of vine structure, and then I can put a plant right in here and make it easy to take in and out. Look, did you tell him? Did you tell him thank you for coming to Happy Basins? Yeah, sweet thing. Yes, Mommy Wada and Rico Suave were very used to getting handled. So her just coming out like this is perfectly fine to her, as far as I can tell. All right, I need to find my 1/4 inch, which I think I put down here. There it is. Okay, like I said, this is about 1/3 of what I would normally have, maybe even 1/4. It's pretty small. And normally I have a lot more of this 1/4 inch. So what I would typically do with it, well, first of all, before I put the 1/4 inch on, I do take the 1/2 inch. That's what I was getting to when I showed you how that's open in the front. And I create my back and my front. And it doesn't have to be the back or the front. You can turn it so that the vine system is at your door and the plant's inside. It's this stuff's so easy to remove in and out of your enclosure, as you saw right there with Mommy Wada. And you can literally take this whole structure and set it right in the shower. If you're a person who likes to give your babies showers, which I am because they love it. And like I said, before we had rain chambers, we just put them in the regular shower right on these soaker hose vines, which work fabulously. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is kind of twist these two pieces together, because I need a full structure. And I'm not gonna spend too much time on the strength of it, because my 1/4 inch soaker hose is really going to give me a lot more structure. And then I just kind of bend things in here. And then I'll come back up with these two pieces hanging off and attach them like somewhere. And attaching them inside a piece that's already twisted gives you more strength, and you have to use less of your vine to twist it together. Like I said, you guys, the soaker hose is so fabulous for not getting any mildew on it. All of my enclosures downstairs have real wood. They all have the regular reptile vines that we used to use. And I find I have to wipe them down completely. I do it with peroxide and water. Sometimes I use a little bit of vinegar. Oh, darn, I broke my soaker hose. That's okay. And those reptile vines get a little bit of mold, and so does the wood sometimes. But the soaker hose vines never, ever, ever have had mold on them in all the years. We've been using these vines for 4 years now. So, okay. Now you can see I have somewhat of a structure. You guys, if this is all that you made, this is enough. um, and these soaker hose, if you don't have the money to go buy all of the copper wire is expensive, you can use other wire, but we just use the copper wire because it's something that they use in air conditioners, so it must not rust or something. I don't know. Larry chose it. I'm sure he had a reason. But if you don't want to get all that copper wire, you don't have to. You can just take this soaker hose, just plain regular soaker hose, a strip of it, and just wrap it around your vines that your perches that you have in there. If they're PVC pipes or the curtain rods, like I mentioned, just give them some other little sizes to work with, so they're not just on that one big fat thing. And it gives them texture. Like if you've ever seen the inside of my rain chamber, it's just like resin perches in there. And then I just took this soaker hose and wrapped it like spider webs in there, and they absolutely love it. Okay, so here I have my little vine structure. And it is a little smaller than normal, but that's okay. I should have measured my 25 feet instead of just going by memory. But Rico Suave is going to love it either way. And like I said, I can add more later. All right, then here's my wire-filled 1/4 inch. And what I do with this 1/4 inch is I just go through it. Oops. And I'm going to stretch this out a little so it will hang better. And I'm just going to start wrapping it around, and you make the design. So right now at this point, I know that I want these 2 round pieces. These are the 2 most important pieces right here at the front and the back, because this back one is going to have a water bowl right under it. And the front one is just going to be close to the glass. And they like these top ones the most, but they do use them all. I need to post the picture I took for the thumbnail for this video. It really shows them using their temperature gradients. All right, now what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of creating some horizontal perching spots. So there's a nice U shape. The emeralds don't care if it's perfectly flat. This is a little angled, and they're fine with that. Everything down here is good. They'll sleep down here at the bottom when they're hungry, when they really start foraging at night. And that's another misconception. You hear that these guys are pure ambush, but we find them foraging in the wild all the time, and mine forage. So they obviously forage and ambush. And all of this vine structure gives them somewhere to go when they're foraging. All right, what is it called? Putting off doing something you need to do? Procrastinating, because I'm having a hard time deciding where to put this vine. And you just kind of just start. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is to just start, and it'll work itself out as you go. So I just connected my 1/4 inch to one side up here at the top. I'm pulling it kind of tight, not too hard because it will rip. The 1/4 inch rips easier than the 1/2 inch. And when I'm doing this, I'm just want to leave a little slack. You don't want to like pull it tight across. You want to leave a little slack because you don't forget your whole purpose is to give these animals places to lay on. One twist is enough. You don't need to over twist your pieces. They'll stay pretty sturdy once you're done. And you'll notice I kind of go back and twist stuff. Again, always trying to make some kind of horizontal place. And this particular vine is definitely going to get more added to it. It is not sufficient for what I like, but completely sufficient to an animal that does not have this stuff. Here I'm putting another little place to lay. Don't over twist it, you'll just be wasting your vine. And I'm just about done, you guys. There is one more part I'm gonna do. How much have I gone over? I don't even know. It doesn't even matter at this point. Okay, so here is a nice soaker hose vine system. We're just going to add the water bowls and we will be done. So you guys see that? This can sit if you have, say you have like a little 3 foot by 2 foot, you can actually just sit this right in there. You might need to add a few more little pieces for stability. Like here's a nice piece right here. I can add to this later to give it a little more. So you can set it in there or you can hang it from the top. Or you can use an existing perch that goes across and just put the perch right through there and have this sitting in there. So you're not getting rid of anything you already have, you're just adding to it and giving enrichment. And like I said, you guys, they love this texture. They rub their little faces on it when they're shedding. You can see them really rub it. On my shedding videos, you can see them always starting their shed with this nice texture. All right, let's get to our water bowls. The water bowls are one of the best parts of this. I'm probably just going to make a water bowl circle without using an actual, I guess I can use this paint can. We'll use this. Show you guys. I need to get where you can see me. I need some hose. And I'm just going to thread this little piece in here. This is a little more than what I even need. But as you guys saw earlier, I do not like cutting this stuff at all. And if it's a little bit too long, that's no problem because you can use the leftover parts just as extra vines. Now, our boreal water bowls are a huge hassle. I know because when we started the enclosure that you guys saw over there with Draca is one of our PVC closures that Larry built. We drove all the way to another state to get the materials to build that enclosure. It's 1/2 inch PVC board that we could only find at Menards, and we do not have a Menards in Arkansas, and I think it was like Tennessee or something. So we drove up there and bought every piece of PVC board they had, and we have used all of it. We would really like to have more. We love that 1/2 inch PVC board with aquarium epoxy, makes great enclosures. The problem that we find is with the doors, but I think we've gone with a 1/4 inch plexiglass we're using for doors, for the smaller enclosures. We had a huge 6 foot enclosure. You know what I didn't do? If you guys have been watching, I did not sand the tip because I was doing such a short one, I didn't think it mattered. The sanding really makes a big difference. And like I said already, this was a little too long, so I may just cut it. for time purposes. I don't know what I was thinking that I could do all this in an hour. I tried to work the whole time I was chatting. Also, another problem is this is the end of the copper wire spool. And so this little piece right here has a really nice bend in it. Makes it really hard to use. But I'm so close now. I'm just going to cut it off. Just cut your losses. Oh, I recommend always making sure your copper wire pieces get into your bucket and not laying around on the floor. I'm sure you can tell that that was firsthand experience advice. All right, cut off the end of the soaker hose, and now I just have this. This is going to be my water bowl. This is not a lot more than I'm going to need for my water bowl. Now, this is approximately the size of my water bowl, and I do have water bowls downstairs, but I'm not going to bother with one right now because it's actually quite a hassle because my water bowls are plastic, but this paint bucket is really, really close. So what I'm doing here is just wrapping my soaker hose to the diameter of my water bowls, which, like I said, this is super close. And then I am going to twist it. So I'm getting this wrapped around here really good because it's about the diameter of my bowls. And then I twist it together like this. And I do give this one an extra good twist because I want it to be stable. So I give it one extra twist. It doesn't need a lot of extra twists. Okay, so now I can just use one of Draco's water bowls here, just to show you guys how it goes in there. Oh, Draco, you just got fresh water. Now you're gonna get more fresh water. Just dump this outside here. Okay, so this is what we use for the water bowls, and these are just plant pans that go under your plants. We order them on Amazon. And you can see here that my paint bucket was really close. It should have been just a tiny bit bigger because I do like the water bowls to really sit down in there. Actually, this is so close. I'm just going to fix it now because it barely needs just a little more. And just get it to where your water bowls fit in there the way you want them to. Ow, I do really recommend nice big water bowls. You can see in there right now, Draca is really enjoying sitting in his water bowl. And Draca is a wild-caught northern from Guyana. So he knows what it's like to get to sit in water and rain and stuff. So there we go. You see that, you guys? There is your arboreal water bowl. Now, you get to attach this anywhere you want to and this entire vine system. If you look at my enclosures downstairs, I always have one water bowl right at the top under the perch. Let me just show you guys. This is very important because the animals use it. They always, every animal uses it. So, can you guys see how Draca is sitting on that loop that I created? Wait, Larry said double tap. That'll center it, then I can move it around. So he's sitting on that loop I created with his whole body. He's sitting so far in that water bowl, he's pushing the water out. He must have dipped in there even farther. once I came over here. So they love that. And the reason why we even started putting big water bowls in for them was because we saw Isis when she was a great big huge full-grown emerald trying to get her whole entire body into a little tiny water bowl. So that's when we decided that we were going to get bigger water bowls. And ever since we did, we have seen appreciation from the animals. All right, so here's my arboreal water bowl. And I should have pointed out while we were in there that you can see the water bowls that Larry had 3D printed in there. And then those are screwed to the inside, which is a good idea too. They work fantastic. I think it's important for them to have water up high. They really appreciate it. Not to mention, my friend in Colombia said that he had an emerald that liked to sit. He has a big nature reserve there. He had an emerald that liked to sit in the hole of an empty tree trunk. And he also saw a rainbow boa regularly who did that too. So they do actually have access to puddles of water out there. Okay, I like to have at least one water bowl right here under the basking perch so that they have heat and water all at the same time. And then I always put a water bowl. All of my enclosures have one water bowl down here at the bottom like this. So this one, I'm going to put it up here because I think this is the more important water bowl. And I'm just going to take these two ends that I created and spread them out. So find a nice, good, strong place for them to bind to. And then from there, I will twist them up. So this looks like this is going to be a great place for my water bowl. And sometimes you made a vine, you might just have to pull it back. Like this time I just pulled my 1/4 inch right out of the way. That's the great thing about these. They're extremely manipulatable. Manipulatable. I don't know. Is it a word? If not, it's good enough, eh? Okay, so another thing about these soaker hose water bowls is that they will droop a little bit. When your water bowl's this big and I fill them all the way up, I'm just crazy about filling them overflowing so that the animals can have all that water. And once you fill it up, it will go down a little bit like that. So that's why you can never fill it, you know, it'll just spill out a little bit. But if you have plants, which I keep plants in my enclosures because they keep my humidity where I need it to be. So when you have a lot of plants at the bottom, then the overflow of water is no problem. If you have a puppy pads at the bottom, which I keep puppy pads at the bottom, except for downstairs where I actually have full plumbing and drainage and RV shower pans. All right, you guys, here we have it. Here's one little vine system made out of soaker hose right here. It only took us an hour and a half, but look at the product. We have a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch vines. Of course, all of these vines are going to get manipulated in better ways so that we can maximize our horizontal perching. And then the thing I'm most proud of on my design is this arboreal water bowl right where I want it, right under this perch, so the animal can sit here and have their body in the water. And if I want it to be higher, I can just move it, just spend a little energy and bend it. All right, you guys, I'm going to see if there are any questions or comments. And if there's not, I'm going to put on my dragon suit and do some very quick light gymnastics on my thing here. Erica, Tara, John Jakes. I always wondered if it's Jean Jacques or John Jakes. Thank you guys all for coming here today. Eric and Tiffany. The Punisher is here. Tara loves my outfit. All right, you guys, I am going to show you this whole entire outfit. So let me zoom out here. Oh, and then, well, I didn't tell you guys the paint. I just I put plastic all over the floor, painter's plastic, because I like to do it in the house so bugs and leaves don't get on it. And I just lay all my soaker hose down and I just use a paintbrush and I do the green Ecos paint with a little bit of brown splotches to make it look a little more realistic. All right, I am going to show you guys this entire costume. I really appreciate everybody for watching my videos. And I get to share the things that I love and enjoy with all of you. I love that. Okay. I have these hands, and these hands are the same thing as the feet that I showed you when we first started. And these feet are just the hands. You just buy these on Amazon, and for the feet, I filled them with foam, that kind of foam you spray and it hardens. This is my head, my mask that I got from some mask company, which I don't know. I keep it displayed with this ball inside of it so that it stays nice and full. And I could put my tail on right now. The tail is a separate thing that you could buy on Amazon. It doesn't come with the head or anything. It's all separate. And it's, oh darn. It's a fun tail because it really swishes around well. I have a lot of little pieces on here. I'm not going to try to make everything just right. I'm just going to get you guys the idea, okay? I'm all dressed up as a dragon now. I should go downtown for trick-or-treat tonight and join Miranda and Aria. So here's my tail, and it's a great texture. It's a lot of fun. And you can really just get this on. All this stuff came off Amazon, but none of it came together. And then this, or I should say these, are my wings. And this is also two separate things. The spine came separately than the wings. And I think the tail came from the same company where I got the wings. And then Larry and I, it's kind of hard to show you here. We made this little harness thing for it, which I'm going to show you here. Larry got all the extra material for this suit and made a bunch of stuff, which I need to show you before I put this on. And my arms are just going to go right through here and then through these things. So that's really cool. But before I put the wings on, let me just show you really quick. This whole entire suit was a suit from Etsy, and it had a hoodie and everything. Well, even my dive suit, I don't like one piece. I like two pieces. So Larry took the top of this and he cut the whole cat suit in half. And then he added all of this fabric right here to make it nice and long because I like things to be long. And then he got more fabric and the pants, since it was a cat suit and we had to cut the pants, he added this whole top piece to it for me. And we just found the same material, on Etsy. And then he made this skirt for me. And I chose the material with the extra little dragon things there. I might actually have a skirt on inside out. It's supposed to show those fins when I'm doing cartwheels and stuff. Just fix it real quick. But yes, Larry made all of this, and it's really cute, and it fits me so perfect, and I love it. Oh yeah, there you go. All right, now I'm going to put my wings on. Also, one piece of this costume that you guys are not going to see here today is the fact that I have a speaker system that hooks onto my belt and has a microphone. So when I have my mask on with this whole entire costume, I still have a voice because Larry hooked me up with a speaker and stuff. This is really a two-man job putting this suit on, but you guys have been so patient with me so far. But I had a lot of fun making those vines with you guys today. That is something I have been wanting to show for a long time. But like I said, I keep making videos for it and then I never actually put them together. So when I get to do stuff on a live video like this, I'm really glad because that means it's really getting out there. All right, here are my wings. And I think I might have this whole thing on upside down, but that's okay for now. Yes, my wings are upside down. So when the real thing's on, it actually looks better. It sits better and everything. But I'm not going to. You guys are going to get the gist of it. All right, let's see. I get my feet on. Putting this fabric over the shoes was a really great idea because it just makes for some really nice, comfortable shoes. I know, I said I wasn't going to, but it's really uncomfortable. And I think I can do it quickly. But you know how it is when you try to do something quickly, it just makes it even harder to do. I don't know. I don't know if it was right or wrong. I'm almost done, you guys. This might actually be the first time I've ever done it by myself. Put all this on. It's not that bad, is it? I think I got it in the same direction, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Thank you, Saran, for my dragon costume compliment. All right, you guys. I don't look as good as I normally do in this little getup. Oh no. So you guys can still hear me because I have the microphone on my lapel, don't I? So here we are, one dragon. Oh no, I forgot about Mama Wada. She's okay. So here's my dragon costume. Of course, with help, it looks better. So thank you guys for coming today. I promised you a little gymnastics. So I can't actually do it with all this on. I'll take off all my garb and just do one little spin thing on the hoop. So on our Thursday room tours, today is a special day because it's dress up day, but we'll just be going around each Thursday and looking at the different things in our HappyBasins house that other people can use. I'm extra struggling with this because you guys are watching me, so stop watching. I'm just kidding. Okay. Now for a little tiny bit of a gymnastics here. What should I do? Move this up. When I started aerial gymnastics, it was all for my back. I have level 2 degenerative spine disease in 2 spots, and my neck is curved completely backwards. So going upside down and stretching and doing aerial yoga has literally saved my life. And once I started, it was just like collecting reptiles. You can't stop. And I ended up with all kinds of aerial equipment. And this whole house is, once you get done with that, you have to spin the other way for a second to get undizzy. So it's really good for your back and spine. You guys, I had so much fun. Thank you for joining me today. And I will see you guys. I think our next live is on Monday. Monday night at 6 p.m. is Jungle Room News, where we update you on all the cool stuff that's happening and share something new. And then after that on Monday, then we have all night long Monday in the Jungle Room with infrared cameras. It's black and white. It's really boring, but it's like watching a fish tank, because all of the emeralds wake up and you get to you can see all their eyes shine. And it's really fun. If you like to sit and do nothing but stare at animals that move super slow, but it's fun to check in on and see where they are. And then on Tuesday, we have from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Jaja and the tortoises. It's a silent feed, and they're all just waking up in the morning, and you get to see them wake up and find their sunny spot and forage for food. And then from 1 to 2 p.m., I come on live and chat while I feed them and interact with them. So you guys join our live feeds or watch the videos after. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're trying really hard to get 1,000 subscribers, because that's when you're allowed to open a YouTube shop. And Larry is excited about some t-shirts he's been working on. We're going to have some of our beautiful basins on some t-shirts, and of course Jaja too. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Saran. Thank you, guys.